Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Actually, when I record this one, it's still morning. But I have to tell you, I really upset. It's like disappointed because I have done the video one for you, and all of a sudden I realized in the middle of when I'm just talking, the video is not have connected with my mic. That is my bad. My fault, okay, actually, because there is a like this, right, a wires, there is a wires here, but it's not connected with my mic, with how to say that, with my laptop, so I have to do the second time again. So it's like, mashallah, I really like, feel like, why I not do the checking before I start with my record video, the lecture. But it's okay. What we call, maybe this is my time, right? So in future, I will be careful, and I will to be more aware when I did this one. So I will check. Okay. So what I really, because just now I do like excited explaining everything to you all, but I also can attach that one to you all, but uh you will see that almost 75% of that video is not have the audio. It's okay. So yeah, as I tell you just now, okay, uh, I will do again for you. Okay. So where am I? Okay. I hope that is okay and fine. Because I can see what we call, the mic is having that, the echo is moving there, but it's not like proper, right? So yeah, it's like, I do not know why, but this is like really challenging me during this time. The mic is so good, right? Uh, okay. So okay, I hope it's fine. MashaAllah. Because I think I should buy the mic that outside, right? I mean, like, no need to wear inside like this. Okay. So yeah, you can see how funny am I right now, right? Okay. So without further ado, I will like continue on topic 10 now. Okay, topic 10 is about organizing the new venture. Of course, the first attempt just now will be totally different, right? I mean, like, just now I really excited, when I explaining to you all about this topic. Okay, so the content inside here will be like the role of planning the organization of new venture, and then we do have the operation management process, physical and internal, and then we do have the chain link model of organizing innovation, monitoring operational activity, productivity indicators, and then we do have the human resource management, the HRM strategy, and then we have the employee motivational approaches, and then we have the regulatory obligation, uh, and then we have differences between small and large organization. All right, so we move to the next slide. Okay, so this is basically that have been told to you all in the previous topic, which is about the operation process for a newspaper company, whereby when we do the operation system, operation management, we start with the input, and then we move to output. In order to get the output, we need the transformational process. So what is the input? Is about number one, draft the articles, printing paper, and advertising copy. So in here, the reporter mostly when they get the data, I mean the information from the site after maybe some of the event like this press conference of pandemic COVID-19, let's say, right? So they will jot down all those things and then they will draft the articles, and then the stories will be edited by the journalist. Okay, journalist meaning to say the head of journalist, their boss, and then the text will be laid out as you can see in here, and then the advertisement are configured. Okay, why the advertisement are configured? Because in terms of when they are doing the operation in newspaper company, they will be expected something like the advertisement come from the company who are willing to advertise their product or services in the newspaper, and they will charge on it because it's a part of their sales, okay, and profit. So of course during that time, edit every day, right, the company will looking into where to channel their product, where to channel their services, so they will have this proper channel by advertise the newspaper into it, okay, and then the edition is printed after the journalists have done, the head of journalists have done to what we call vet those the stories, the headline stories, and then the edition is printed and the copies are distributed. Bear in mind they will do like as if like 24 hours job, you know, because mostly the editor what they did is at night they will like checking all the stories and then to make sure that is the right headline that will be advertised tomorrow, because if you not do the thorough checking on this, there will be have the in terms of what story that goes in out tomorrow, for example, right? Okay, and then the output will be like the daily edition. Okay, just now, actually just now I had shared to you all is about like the newspaper's price. Okay, in Malaysia, even though the newspaper have been sold in the morning, at the end of the hours at like let's say afternoon or evening, the newspaper price is still same. But in other compared to the other country, for example like Indonesia, the price when you get the headline, for example the stories, the hot stories is come from the morning newspaper, there will be like the price is quite higher. When at afternoon and evening, the price will be dropped because there is no more hot story again, because the story is already outdated. It's been known everybody, even though it's in the same day. So in Malaysia, it's still same. I do not know how about in other country like in Nigeria or other counterpart country, but that is happened in Malaysia. We are still remaining the price. And after all, one of newspaper and STP, if you know, New Street Times, okay, the company is already shut down, okay, because you can actually bear in mind, right? No one will be read newspaper anymore right now. They are already have e-newspaper, newspaper from website, from online. So rather than to have purchase, but somehow we still have like baby boomers generation who want to have the daily newspaper in the morning, right? So they still have got like the Star, okay, newspaper, Berita Harian, not Berita Harian. Okay, so they so do we have the newspaper, but it's a very less compared to before. Okay, all right. So we're moving to the next one. Okay, it's about the permis. Okay, what is permis? Okay, permis is something like the location. Maybe it's very small, right? Okay, so permis is about like the location. Okay, the location of what we are talking about. I'm so sorry. I cannot. Yeah, it's okay lah. The owner or manager has a wide degree of options to choose from and a certain measure of flexibility when they're planning the premise or for the business idea. Okay, I told also just now because I excited explaining to you all, but all of a sudden my mind is like this, right? Okay, so the first one, okay, maybe it's not so like proper. Okay, this one we have like permis. Okay, permis. So permis is something like the building or the location that you use in order to make sure that that is the right place, okay, that have, okay, that they have the right place, that have in order to operate your business. Okay, so there is divided into six type of permits in here. Number one, we have the home-based business. Okay, whereby in term of the cost, okay, they are very low because you are actually using your own home in order to do the operation, your operation of business. And then in term of the flexibility is very high because you can actually have your own time, and then you can spend how many hours to do your business in there because that is your home, and no one will be like penalize you on that because you belong to that space. And in terms of the tenure, of course, it's for long term because it's your home. Automatically, you want to stay there, and then you are running your business there too. All right. For the second one is the service office. The cost is quite low because in here this is another company that giving a service to have the office, service office for the stipulated time, only a particular time. This is widely actually the business been done by this kind of pandemic, during this temporary of pandemic COVID-19, because uh everybody noted that we are work from home, right? So when we are work from home, sometimes when we have the family, the children, I'm not saying that they are disturbing, but somehow we can't focus as well that we are doing the work at office, right? So this kind of building owner, okay, what they did is they used to offer some of the service office, and maybe like shift. Okay, today maybe my wife will go for work to that service office. It's not like going to work actually your works work office, your workspace at your real working place, but it's like a building nearby to your resident. Let's say you are living in an apartment, right? So certain level they used to provide this service. I used to see this one in the documentary in television. They actually offer, okay, that apartment, okay, like, or condominium, and one level they used to provide like a service office, and then you can booking whatever the time that you want. And then you might do, let's say you want to book for 1 hour to do your work, so you will do it. It's that today is your wife will do the work there, and tomorrow you will spend on that, and because you have to take care of the children and the housework too, right? Okay, so the flexibility of course is low because you have the certain limitation of time. And then of course the tenure is very short term because you are only just giving the right only for the certain time, not for 24 hours, not like home based business. For the business incubator, in terms of the cost, they are very low and also medium. It depends because business incubator, meaning to say the other business is giving you something like assistance and help by using their space, building, or maybe like just a certain level. Okay, and then of course they maybe charge you, but not totally charge like a rental. And then the flexibility is medium depending on the business incubator owner, and also of course in terms of the junior also short and medium. It depends if you are maybe have been helped them for 6 months. Okay, so maybe you have the short period, or maybe they're up to 6 months to 1 year. So there will be like short and medium term. All right. For the shared business or shared premise, you are with the other partner, or maybe the other businesses is sharing the same premise. Maybe for level 7, they have two company in that area. So there will be like totally, of course, they will grow to medium, depending how much the building is, and of course you will have the sharing cost on that. And then for the flexibility also depend because you have your partners there together sharing the premise. Of course there will be totally will be like have low and medium flexibility based on the rules, who want to follow whose rules. And then in terms of the tenure, of course they have the medium and the long term. Okay, because why? It depends. Sometimes they want to share together, maybe 1 to 2 years or 1 to 5 years. So it depends. And then for the rented premise, this one is quite medium cost because it depends. Again, sometimes it can be considered as a high cost too because you have to rent at a certain strategic places. For example, in the Kuala Lumpur and Selangor. So mostly, probably this area, the shop building is quite rental to is quite how to say expensive to lease. And then for the flexibility, they are very medium too because in term of the rental, they have you've been given for the certain period of time, and of course the tenure in term of the medium to the long term depend on the owner of the premise. And the last one, we do have the purchase side, which is have a high cost, of course, because you are the owner of the places and the building and the premise. So somehow you have to pay it. Maybe, of course, you buy it with the bank, and then every month you have the commitment for the purchasing of that premise. And then in terms of the flexibility, of course, it will be high because you are the owner of the space and premise. And the last one, in terms of the tenure, of course, it will be permanent. No one will bother on you because you are the owner of the place, and then you are permanently solely to rule that place. So no one will be chase you, disturb you on that. Okay. All right, so we're moving on to the next one in terms of the internal layout. So internal layout is giving something like a blueprint. Okay, something like how the way your organization or premise been visualized. Okay, so in here it's been stated the best way to organize activity, equipment and facilities within the business premise. So as you can see in here, there will be like the grid layout. So they have X, Y axis here. Okay, so this is X. Okay, this is Y axis. Okay, in the axis in here, they have entrance, and the Y in here is like they dedicate scenes. Okay, there, and then they have refrigerator, and then go to storeroom, and then if you realize or not, they have shelving for the dry food, shelving for the cereal, sugar, eggs, shelving for beverages, shelving for cleaning product per product, and then also they do have shelving for paper products, novelty, and electrical. Slightly where we can see the layout is according to the scalper and Valerie. This is like retailer, like you go to Giant, you go to Tesco, Jaya Grocer, Village Grocer. So this is like the fresh products product, and then there will be like bakery here. Of course, during this pandemic, the main entrance will be totally different with the exit. So we'll be have SOP on that. All right. So I believe on the next one is like more on manufacturing, or they've been stated here processes based often used for batch productions. So there will be by batch on this. And then of course there will be like a printing process. They have the raw materials starts here, paper store, ink store, and then there will be like plate making, and then there will be like printing press in here. And then the second batch will be, second step will be like bindery, folding, collating, stitching, trimming, and machines. And then there will be like a third process will be like drying process. Drying machines will be used here. And then there will be like finished process, die cutting, varnishing, laminating, embossing, and machines. And also we have the pre-delivery quality check in here, whereby we have quality control and also order check to make sure that the quality control officer, controller, will check it's meet the requirement or not standard of the product before we go for delivery process. And then there will be like a wrapping machine and packing on pallets and the finished good. So this is how in the manufacturing layout. All right. Okay, and then we're moving on to here. So this is basically like what we call as like a service for cleaning. Service blueprint. It's like service blueprint. And you can see in here, I just touch on the part as you can see from the diagram here. There will be like an action, the call franchisee cleaner via SMS. Maybe right now we have like if let's say the Grab, or maybe like Food Panda, or we can't say Food Panda, maybe Grab, or maybe like Daily Go. They provide like service for the cleaning service. They, you may call upon the number, and then what you do, you get the order, and then the order will SMS accepted. Okay, now we call WhatsApp, right? Of course, WhatsApp message, and then they will tell to the driver, of course, where to go for the location who are required for the cleaning service. And then they will greet the client and do some introduction what to do and where to do the cleaning. And then it takes around 2 to 7 hours depending on how big they are and how much the work they want to do for the cleaning services. And then they will complete the job, and then they will get something like the next one. Okay, prepare invoice and explain the service guarantee about 10 minutes, and then only take payment when the customer sign off given. So this is how the layout for what we call the service blueprint, the step, okay, that will be given on this. Okay, okay, all right. Wait, I have like advertisement here. Okay, sorry, Alright, so we're moving to the next one. Okay. Where is it? Okay. The next one will goes to the inventory. The inventory and the supply managers. Sorry, management. Okay. So what is this? Okay. For those, this is maybe new to you. Okay. This is the what is inventory? Okay. The inventory is the handling of the raw materials or trading stock inventory. Okay, so the things that we to consider when handling the inventory is what is the firm economic order quantity, EOQ. Okay, because we are talking about the amounts of the goods that minimize purchase and storage costs but is still enough to meet all the production needs. Okay, what I'm trying to say in here in the concept of Japanese style, Japanese technique, regards to the inventory management system, they call as just in time JIT. That one is derived from Japan technique which is called Kanban system. So in here they call is as EOQ. This is the term, alright. So as the company is order for the certain of the stock for their products in order to make it stock, so they have to minimize it. Because why the reason they have to minimize it to make sure that number one, the stock that they order that can be sufficient in their storage space, okay, in their store, for example. Number two, to avoid any waste that could be occur, because certain product they have the duration, right? Let's say 1 year, okay, like canned food. So most probably when you order in the large quantity, you have to make sure that how you predict that the sales can be occur, the sales can be happen, and the stock can be used, fully utilized during the particular time. So in order to avoid that waste, so what the company should do is to plan well in terms of their what we call stock inventory management. So that's why in here they said the amount of good that minimize purchase and storage costs but is still enough to meet all production need. Example I take like during this is almost Chinese New Year, February month, right? So if you realize the amount of the products that been in shelf, and let's say in retailer like in Giant or in Tesco or any grocers retailers stores, okay, you can realize that there are more double up, okay, compared to the normal demand, okay, because there is the festival season. So basically the retailers know how to actually to predict on this. The reason because to make sure there is no like insufficient demand. Let's say there is demand from the customer, or sudden they said no stock. So this is when you said there is no stock, actually it shows something like I can say like failure to manage the proper inventory management. Supposedly as a very prominent name or prominent management system, you should know, okay, what to do, and in terms of how to make sure that the customer demand can be met, because the customer will grievances, because when they will complain, they will have the grievances when they said, how come the stores like this, they couldn't predict at this, let's say, Chinese New Year, people still want a higher purchase for certain product, right? So this could be happen, and then when they start to viral, is giving harm to your company name. All right, so the operating equipment, okay, so it been stated here, other equipment depends on the industry sector. So as been stated here, they have the retail operation, and then they needs equipment that allows them to display and transport stock. Okay. Previously, what I see is uh okay, when I see let's say just now I give you example, but you cannot listen to just now because just now is been it have in the video, but it, my audio is not being recorded there, so I really feel regret. Okay, I give example like in IKEA. Okay, let's say actually IKEA is not retailer. IKEA is more on like wholesaler, or they are actually warehouse. Okay, because you realize or not, when they want to stock up their products, okay, they use like a forklift, and then to display at the shelf. At the same time, the customer also can choose the product in there. Do you realize, even though the product is not end product, but still in the boxes, and still you have to do DIY, okay, your own yourself when you buy the product, but still, okay, they need the equipment like the forklift. And if they want to decide to locate the product at the certain shelf, they will close that particular space in order to make sure that the customer is not there, because we do not know, okay, sometimes when sometimes maybe bad happen, all of a sudden when they are stock up the certain thing, and that product is fallen to you, so that will be the things that they want to actually avoiding, okay, and of course they want to avoid it on that, okay. And then the second one, on the manufacturer, they need to invest heavily in the production machinery, of course. If you see mostly in a part of like a warehouse, okay, and wholesaler, they used to have like the forklift, okay, the machinery to transport from one item to another item, from one shelf to other shelf, because this is how to make the because we cannot just use the human to stock and to arrange, and yeah, to make sure that it's on the shelf, of course. But at the shelf itself, like in like grocery stores, okay, of course they need the person, okay, like the staff, the employees to do arrangement on the shelf. That one different story. This one is like in the manufacturing itself. They need the machinery to make sure the production is smooth, and also in the large quantity when they have a high demand. And then the third one, we have the wholesaler require storage and the transportation apparatus. So this is like what we call like we need a large space, right? Like a wholesale, we never see the wholesaler they will be have a small, because they actually invest towards the space. And of course they need like transportation, like of course the container, they need like a truck, okay, they need the lorries, they also need like what we call forklift, okay, to make sure that the product can be transport well and do have the proper logistic on that. All right, and then we're moving to evaluating, improving, and securing the operational activity. Okay, for this part of the operation management, they will deal with number one, assessing and controlling current operation, evaluating the levels of the operational performance. Okay, meaning to say, uh, when they evaluate, okay, the certain the operation, they have to make sure that the operational performance in a good and smooth way. Okay, how is it? So that's why, as I mentioned just now, they keep have the monitoring. Okay, for example, the forklift, they want to be like a truck or lorries. Make sure that all these vehicles and machinery that we use, they are in a good maintenance. For example, there is no oil leak, okay, there is no what we call uh, something like malfunction, okay, machinery, because it will be give some large impact, okay, to the productivity of the products, okay. So that's why they have to make sure the level of operation performance is on the go, okay, understand it. And then the second one, the procedural system and the quality assurance. In terms of the procedure itself, okay, let's say I give a very simple, like in terms of safety procedure, right? Make sure the staff is using glove, proper glove, wool glove. They use like mask, okay. They use like sometimes they use not sunglasses. They use like a safety glass, okay. Sometimes they have a lot of dust, okay, while doing, for example, you are in the furniture manufacturing, okay. When you have to cut a certain of woods, okay. That's why you need that one when you are drilling everything. So that is very important SOP. And then maybe use proper boots, okay. Let's say boots will be have the, if I'm not mistaken, they have two types, right? They have oil resistant and also like water resistant. So somehow certain places they need the oil resistant, some certain people, and the boots is proper to have oil and water resistant to make sure it's be equivalent and can be proper use. Of course they need water and oil resistant, so you are not slippery when you are working. So that is very important. And quality assurance, of course, to make sure that you have the good I mean like perform, okay, the quality performance, okay. Of course the tools that being used in the proper tools, and as mentioned just now also, make sure that they do the maintenance and the safeguards to ensure that they improve the operational procedure. And the last one, risk management safeguard against the adverse future events. So in here, in terms of the risky, about the safety, okay, again, because when talking about risk management, there are things that we cannot avoid it. It can be happen anytime when talking about a risk. So in order to make sure that the risk can be mitigated, so we have to make sure to be manage the risk. So that's why like we have to SOP in terms of the safety management, okay, PPE to use protective personal equipment very well, okay. And of course that is also some of the investment that have to be made by the company in order to make sure that they have the proper operation management techniques and also process, okay. It's okay sometimes people like sometimes, okay, sometimes I'm not just saying like every single company, but sometimes the certain company they wouldn't to invest on these safety parts because they didn't see it, okay. When once they might be facing or real how to say that real facing with the, let's say, accidents at the workplace, right? Then they will see, oh, supposedly this company we have to equip ourselves with the proper of the safeguards in terms of the safety and so forth. All right. So we're moving to the next one in terms of the assessing and controlling current operations. Okay. So how to make sure that the effective evaluation and control in operation management, they require four basic steps. So this is four basic steps is the actually general on how we want to do the precautions when we dealing with the operation management. Number one, we setting the expected standard of the performance or production standard. Okay, so who do the setting? Of course, the operational officer or manager. So they will know what is the standard that should achieve by the workers and the staff when they are performing their job. And then the second one, measuring the actual performance. So how do they want to measuring the actual performance? By observing, okay, by observing all right, so we have to make sure, okay, all right. How to measure the actual performance? We have to make sure that the performance have been measured well by seeing what they understand to do that work. So the result of their work that you can see, oh, whether this is the right things to do. And when we compare with the performance, oh, so whether it's have some good, gap or loop here. So comparing result with the desired standard, is there a substantial discrepancy? So whether they have loop there, they have hole there. If there is a loop and hole there, So there will be like something to do with this. Okay, we cannot expect that everything we done will be like a rainbow in the sky. Even rainbow to happen, they must be go with the thunderstorm. They have to be like a rain, okay, before they get the rainbow. Okay, so in here, okay, when they said making correction, introducing the changes to bring the actual performance up to standard. So meaning to say, you have to make sure whatever that been done by your workers, your staff, you look into it and then you can take out and then you can identify the thing to for correction, the thing for improvisation. So what is it from the loop, from the gap, the actual performance and also the standard. Then you can see, oh, this is not the things, the right things to do. So you have to do like this, like this, like this. So the managers, especially the supervisors, you have to guide them. Let's say they do not know. Okay, sometimes maybe you're not sending them for the training, but you have already asked them to do the task. Okay, so there is no proper training being given to them. So that's why there will be like a gap after they sending, after they attending certain training. Then you can see the difference. Okay. The procedural system in the quality assurance. Okay. What is the quality assurance? Different, quality assurances and also quality insurance. That's different. Okay. Quality system. Okay. A set of the processes and the principle design to ensure the production of the set of consistent activities, goods or services. So there is a set of processes and principle design, okay, in to make sure that every single of the, especially the activity, okay, the process of the work, okay, task been done, which is meet the requirement of the quality assurance. So what is the quality assurance? Is ISO 9000. Okay, what is ISO? ISO is the International Standard Operation. If you see the company like IIC, we do have this ISO 9000, meaning to say every single program that we provide in IIC is meet the requirement standard. So if you see ISO 14000, that one is more on environmental side. Let's say the company who are producing something like processes product, okay? So they have to meet the requirement environment standard. So in here, total quality management, this is actually combination of the quality assurance, the adoptions of the quality-based philosophy throughout the firm. So that's why in order to have this total quality management, they have a lot of the processes, SOP, standard of procedure, sometimes like what we call flow chart, standard chart, okay, to ensure that they follow step by step on how to achieve this quality assurance. Okay, and then we're moving to the risk management. Okay, so as I mentioned just now, risk we cannot delete it. We cannot delete. We cannot just throw it away. No, because delete. The risk have to be managed. Okay, so what is risk management? The process of attempting to to identify the risk in advance, assessing their likely possibility of occurrence, and then taking steps to mitigate or eliminate the risk. So in here, we will identify the risk in advance. Okay, and then how we want to make sure we assessing, meaning to say you are predicting what possible to happen if like this. If this been done like this, plan A, what will could be happen. So you are predicting. You are not like Hoja, or you are not like the black magic man. No, but we are predicting as assuming this could be happen. Okay, we this could be happen, and then they will taking the step to mitigate. Mitigate meaning how to reduce. Okay, how to counter, how to handle. Okay, or eliminate. Eliminate how to reduce the risk. Okay, not delete, not remove, but how to ensure that this risk can be slowly removed. Okay, and then the good risk management, how the best and effective technique can include, number one, the development of a contingency plan. Okay, this is a very, very important because we want to know that every single plan that you do is not just only one plan. They must come around with plan A, plan B, plan C. Okay, And of course, there will be a contingency plan. An idea about how to respond should be threatened. Risk actually occur. So how you threaten the risk, how to respond the risk, is actually how the way we do that particular, and how we combat, how we combat this the risk. Okay, so in order to combat the risk, they must come out with, if let's say the plan A is not go with well with the plan that you expected to be happen, they will go with plan B. So this is the backup plan, and of course the backup plan have to be facilitate with the proper facilities. If not, it's just a waste. You plan without knowing what should be facilitated together with that contingency plan. And then the second one, use of the appropriate security measure. So what is the best in order to make sure that the risk can be mitigated? So let's say, okay, in order to avoid the accident at the workplace, I give very simple example. Number one, make sure the staff or the workers at the workplace, especially at the site, they are using proper ventilation, especially in this pandemic, right? They use glove, okay? They use like mask, okay? They use shield somehow, right? And then maybe on top of certain of a very risky job, okay? So they need to like provide certain, like let's say if you are used to handling and dealing with like what we call like a very high weightage of product to be lifting, right? Sometimes you need also like your own sweat to use to, instead of using forklift. Okay, you need something like wool glove, okay? And then if let's say you have to touch on the very hot things, okay? So that one also wool glove, okay? Because it's not same when you are using the rubber glove and wool glove, okay? And plastic glove, this totally different. So appropriate security measure to ensure that there is no accident happen in the workplace. That's why they say safety first, okay? No accident, zero accident, because most probably company, in order to make sure that the security measure too occurred, okay, they link it with their performance indicator, like KPI with the bonus. Let's say if you maybe involved in accident, so your KPI will be totally deducted. Okay. This is why it's two in one actually, because you like killing birds with killing birds with the two stone, or killing two birds with one stone, for example, right? So we want to encourage on safety work environment. At the same time, they are will be conscious and careful, and we can actually use this security measure. Okay, and the third one, purchase of the suitable insurance policy. This is the thing that I told storytelling just now in my previous video, but I really sad when it's not have the voice. Okay, like this. Okay, when we purchase the suitable insurance policies, make sure it goes and directly to you, meaning to say, like if let's say in the company, mostly they used to buy the policy insurance related to the life insurance, because mostly the work that they used to involve in a high risk work. Okay, so that's why for the insurance company, okay, the policy insurer, they will make sure that what the clients needs, okay, when they are buying the policy, and whether it's sufficient enough, okay? Because if you keep just for the sake just pay and provide insurance without knowing what is actually been covered for that particular stuff, is like yeah, you are throwing the money into the rubbish, okay, rubbish bin. So what to do is purchase the suitable insurance policies. Okay, this I'm sharing you this story because it's just for the sake for to tell you how important the insurance are. Okay, like this. Okay, the story begin once upon a time. Okay, when I used to during my study time, we and the group members, because that subject is about safety management subject. It's something like long name actually, occupational safety and safety and health management. So it's like OSH subject, right? So we used to have to go to like site visit, and I and my friends, like in our group, six of us, visit in Northport. North Port, for those who do not know, is they have two, West Port and North Port. So North Port is located in Klang. So of course, as you know, port is the place whereby the first entrance for to those product from Malaysia or to go outside Malaysia, right? So basically those people is working 24 hours, and bear in mind they have to work something like OT, overtime. And for those who are working overtime, mostly they are most probably the supervisors is asked for the foreign workers. The reason, because I'm not saying this, but this is has been briefed to us, okay, by the supervisor when we are doing the interview. And this supervisor is telling us this story, okay. He said because foreign workers, in terms of their pay, is quite reasonable. However, we still also insured them with the high policy. And most probably at night there will be like Bangladeshi who work, okay, and then the other foreign workers, okay. The story is begin like this, okay. That night, okay, this person is doing their overtime work, okay, and most probably the condition at the North Port, the port itself is very noise. For those who are maybe have been to there, okay, the conditions of port is very noisy, okay. You are listen only to the horn, the honking, and then you can listen to the noise of the forklift, okay, and the noise of the container being transport from one location to location. And then you can heard also like if they have a ship, a big ship there, there will be like totally very noise, okay. The problem is not that problem, the accidents, okay. The accident happen is started like this, okay. There will be when at night, okay, there should be at the port there will have the proper light, okay, but the light is if you can visualize, it's like the light that especially we are at the stadium. It's like, you know, every corner around surrounded that is dark, and then all of a sudden only the stadium itself, the field itself is having the light. Can you imagine that like this? Okay, so during they're doing the work, okay, somehow they're not allowed the trespasser. The trespasser meaning to say the people who are working, working, not working, walk, walk, okay, berjalan, okay, walking at that area because it very high risk, okay. And only forklift is allowed in order to move and doing their movement, okay, movement activity in there. Okay, unfortunately, okay, this guy, of course, the foreign workers is doing their work, okay, as the supervisor telling us about this story. We cannot blame the workers, okay, the workers who are driving the forklift, because the forklift, sorry, not forklift, okay, forklift, yeah, forklift is the right tools and machinery used in order to transport from one location to location. I mean the big container, right? So the problem is to his friend. Because his friend is all sudden they are trespasser. How are you get me? It's just like they not they but he is crossing the area that actually they are not allowed to cross by in that particular area because it's very risky. And what happened when he is calling his friend, because when the workers is using the forklift, because as I mentioned just now, the north port, the port itself is very noisy, right? Can you imagine, okay, the north port is very noisy, and if you are not using the personal protective equipment as earplug at your ears, you will be become something like people who are not listen to anything. Okay, you will not listen. You get me or not? You will become someone that people will say, "How are you?" You not even answer people on that because why? Because you will totally become, because it's too noise. Okay, so in order to safeguard for their ears safety, so they use to the earplug. Okay, they use earplug. So when this friend, his friend, calling upon his this guy who are at the forklift, He couldn't actually listen anything, and he is doing his work. And this guy is crossing by there. And what happened? The forklift is actually transporting the big container, a large container. Can you imagine? The large container is something like maybe the car is inside that. Okay. So what happened? This guy is crossing nearby the forklift, and then when he want to transport to the down, the container is falling down to his friend. Okay, it's like bump like that. Okay, so can you imagine that? When I was telling you this story for the second time, I feel very like, yeah, it's like goosebump, because can you imagine when the forensic and also the police is doing investigation, there is nobody after all at that site. Meaning to say, you can't see the physical body after all. It's all are just a piece of meat. Okay, the body is done, diminished, is destroyed, is already this been how to say that, being fallen by the big container. And when the forensic want to do investigation, they have to dig that meat, at that place. Okay, so when the supervisor is telling us this story, I feel like, masha Allah, I couldn't even heard, and I just like okay, is it this is the place? And the supervisor said, this is the place. Because the supervisor is showing us, right? Showing us where is the place for the operation and so forth. So they said, this is the thing that we always said. And every morning we have the roll call. Roll call is something like doing briefing, right? We are not allowed to trespasser. We're not crossing. We are not allowed to cross by here. So when we heard this story, meaning to say, everybody well known about this. Everybody well known, but because maybe what the purpose, maybe there will be like some like maybe importance or maybe emergency call. We do not know what actually his friend trying to say, but the friends also not even can say anything, and it's just like 1 second flop into that body. And then can you imagine, masha Allah, okay, the body is not dead, but after the incident happened, it's like, I don't exactly remember, but the supervisor told us like it's like 2 to 3 months the site have to be closed down, because number one, for the investigation, and number two is because for those who are doing the work at night, doing their shift, they always listen something like screaming soul, screaming, screaming voice, okay, asking for help, like something like tolong, something like that, or something like help, something like that lah. They've been hurt in that place. Okay, can you imagine that? And then, of course, is giving something like frightening to the rest of the member, especially his friend, because his friend until now, I believe that he will feel guilty on that. But the policy insurance is giving, of course, because the guy who died is a Malaysian, okay, is Indian guy, and the policy is almost 1 million. Can you imagine that? Uh, the money you can get high, but the life is lost here. Okay, so uh, I couldn't say anything when I kids. Even I told this story many times to my student, I still feel like a very tired, because I could imagine how the forensic officer able to dig it and put into the plastic and said, okay, your son is no more. So this is, the body is like a piece, like, like uh meat, like shredded meat. Yeah, it's like a piece meat, nobody, even the you can't find any like is like bond anything, because that is a large container. Can you imagine? It's like flop. It's just fallen into the body. It's like okay. And even the supervisor say, until now when I briefing about this, okay, I feel it. I feel it because I know this guy, okay, the workers who are die. So yeah, risk is everywhere, right? I'm not doing some jump scare to you all, but this is the real, okay? That's the reason when we are working at a very high risk work, okay, or position or place or company as well. Of course, the company have to purchase a suitable Of course, not talking about suitable. The insurance policy have to be thoroughly can protected your guardian here. So the family get how much the highest compensation because of the dead body. And of course, the friends been investigate whether the friend is drunken or what, negligence, right? But his friend said, I didn't listen anything because we are wearing the earplug. Yeah. And to make this condition, I might say that, yeah, be careful. Yeah, even though we are in our house also, sometimes the accident could happen, right? At the kitchen, okay, as well and so forth. Can you imagine even we out there, okay, it can be happen. Okay, so I will stop. Okay, at this 15th slide. Okay, they say it here as a summary. The operational management covered many different aspects of the firm. Number one, we're talking about efficiency through the operation process. Okay, and then we do have the physical. Of course, the operation process have to be really efficient, okay, to make sure it's smooth, okay, and then the physical side factors we have to promise, okay, and of course, we need, like in kind this pandemic, I believe lots of like premise like brick and mortar store have to be closed down because of current pandemic like nowadays. But we have this virtual sites, okay, virtual site, right? Like which is online, okay. They said not brick and mortar stores, but it's like click and mortar stores. Yeah, it's true, huh? And we have production processes, which is a workflow. It's very important because it's about the processes step by step what to do. And then the last one, we have the operation management, evaluation, and improvement through the operational performance. So every single things we did in this part of the production or the operation management process, we couldn't just say, okay, we did and then we left. No, we have to monitor and evaluate it because we want to get for the sake for improvement what to do next, okay. So that is the most important thing to do, okay. All right, I'm stopped here for the first part of the video. I hope, okay, my audio is visible in here so you wouldn't complain, but of course, I will continue on the second part for you, okay. All right, thank you for now and please take care. Assalamualaikum and have a nice day.